In this video, we're going to be talking about how to graph proportional relationships. So there are two rules that we need to be able to tell if a graph is proportional. Rule number one is that it has to be a straight line. So we have talked about constant proportionality, having a constant multiple if a relationship is proportional. So if you are multiplying by the same number, you're going to have a straight line. Otherwise, it's not proportional. And then the other rule is that it has to go through the origin. So if a graph has these two things, it is a proportional relationship. So example one says each 1/4 cup of serving of cereal has 3 grams of protein. How much protein would be in 1 cup? What is the constant of proportionality? So if you guys remember, our equation for constant proportionality is y equals k times x, where k is our constant. So to be able to solve for k, we do y divided by x. So in this case, I see that cups of cereal is my x and grams of protein is my y. So I can say that I have 3 grams of protein is my y, and I have 1/4 cup of cereal, which is my x. So I can go ahead and divide these. So 3 as a fraction is 3/1 divided by 1/4. And I'm going to do my keep, change, flip here. So 3/1 times 4/1. And when I multiply straight across, this is going to get me 12/1, which is the same as 12. So my constant is 12. So what that means is I can go ahead and multiply all of my x variables by 12 to get my y variable. So for the first one, when I have 1/4 cup of cereal, I have 3 grams of protein. For my second x, I have 1/2 times 12. Always write 12 as a fraction. This comes out to 12/2, or 12 divided by 2, which is 6. Then I have 3/4 times my constant of 12. So 12 times 3 is 36, and 4 times 1 is 4. And when I divide those two, I get 9. So when I have 3/4 cup of cereal, I have 9 grams of protein. And then last but not least, when I have 1 cup of cereal, I'm going to have 12 grams of protein, which is not really on my graph. I'm just going to estimate that it's here. And now I can go ahead and draw a line. So it goes through the origin and it is a straight line. So it is proportional. All right, example 2, we have a proportional relationship here because it's going through the origin and it is a straight line. So A is asking us what all 3 of these points mean. So whenever we're looking for what the points mean, we want to look at what our x and what our y variables mean. So 0, 0 is just our starting point. We haven't taken any time and we haven't traveled any distance. For 1, 5, remember our coordinate points go x first and then y. So that means that 1 is my x. So this means in 1 hour, I have traveled 55 miles. And then 5 and 275 means that in 5 hours, I have traveled 275 miles. So part B says, what is the COP, constant proportionality? Remember, constant is the same as my unit rate. So to go over to 1, x needs to be 1. So in 1 hour, I have traveled 55 miles. So that means that 55 is my constant proportionality. And now that I know that, I can write it in my equation. So y equals 55 times x. So part B, fill in the blank, 7 comma blank. What would this represent? So now that I have my constant, I can fill this in. I know what my x is, I don't know what my y is. So I'm going to leave my y blank, and I'm going to plug in my x into my equation. So instead of 55 times x, I'm going to do 55 times 7. Remember, you can use your calculators if you need them. So 55 times 7 is 385. So when I have traveled for 7 hours, I have gone 385 miles. Our last problem is to tell which graphs are proportional. So for my first one, this is proportional because it goes through the origin and it's a straight line. So it has met both of my two rules. My second one is not. It is a straight line, but it does not go through the origin. So even though it is a straight line, it has to go through 0, 0, and it does not. And then my last one is not because it is a curved line and it looks like it's going through the origin, but we can't exactly tell. But it's a curved line and it doesn't necessarily go through the origin.